Hey, what's going on, everybody? Here, this is your boy King Gabe here, and hope you guys enjoyed all those history of my different plush toys. Brownie, Dashdale, Emily, Anna, Billy. Yep. Oh, is it now? Of course, there were some plush toys that didn't quite make history videos. They were featured in like in the group shots with the other with all of them together and stuff. Um, before I started doing the history videos, but yeah, ones like Gerald and the Anna's siblings. Um, yeah, ones like those few they make a because some of those I did not have a long history with like I did say like Brownie, Billy, and all of them there. Um, and just to let you know, now I stated in a previous when I posted the Billy video, be sure to check that out and all the others. But I stated that that would be the last plush toy history video, but um, there might possibly be another one coming up. I'm saying might because I'm not sure yet there because I haven't got a confirmation on it yet. So, like I say, but when I do, you will see it if there's a confirmation on it. So, like I say, but if not, then Billy's is the final one. So, like I say, but just giving you a heads up just in case. So you'd be like, wait, he said the last one was Billy. Where's this other one coming from? So just letting you guys know, heads up, just in case. Now with all that said, before we start, make sure you be sure to you like what you're about to hear and everything, as well as all the other stuff on the channel. Definitely hit that like button, subscribe, notifications and everything. Share it with your friends. Also, be sure to buy some of our books as well as support us on Patreon. Even if it's just $1 a month, you can get early access to these videos before they hit YouTube. Yes, I'm definitely taking yeah, 'cause I was not doing that before. I really should have been. I know that is a thing because I've seen. Cause like I said, I watch other YouTubers and I know pretty much every YouTuber I watch does that there. That has especially ones that have Patreons there. So yeah, like I say, I should have been doing it before, but I'm doing it now. So like I say, we live and learn. So, but like I say, so yeah, definitely sign up on the Patreon, get to help support us and get early access to these videos and everything before they hit YouTube. As what say, even for as little as $1 a month, and also you also sponsor the channel as well, which like Kings and my mother has there. So, with all that said, let's dive into the history of Hiko Makuro. Yes, we're going into the history of some of the human characters, at least the first ones that are confirmed to be in this Yumeko series. Because, like I say, still at the third chapter of my book right now. Right, I'm writing the third chapter. Like I say, it's a gradual process, bit by bit, because ideas come and stuff like that, and I have to really, um, think on a lot of things, to pretty much put it together, almost like putting a puzzle together. Um, but it is, but it's not a bad thing. No, don't get me wrong. It's just really want to make the story pop. Make really put myself really into the story. Much like my wife, she's getting ideals with her Bubbling series. I don't think she's really started writing it yet, her novel series, but she has been sharing some ideas. I'm not gonna say what they are. I'll let say what they are, but yeah, um, she's developing it up here right now. So to know what she's gonna put down on the paper. So yep, and like I say again, mine is at the third chapter. So I probably at some point will have an update video for that coming up at some point of what to expect out of book number one of Yumeko. So be on the lookout for that as well as other history videos that'll be coming up of the characters confirmed to be in the series. So Now let's get to Hiko. Oh boy, there is quite a bit to talk about with Hiko Makuro. I'm just gonna say that. Oh boy, it's Hiko, or his full name Hikoji. That was actually something that came to my mind. Him having, because I've always just called him Hiko, when I first came up with him. But giving him that, like, well, this is his full name, and we just call him Hiko for short. Hikoji was something think was I think it may have been thought of in Brown Chronicles comics, but I know it was. I could definitely say for sure it was something that came to my mind when I tried to write Yumeko as a comic series there, with the first two issues. Before, of course, Photoshop, quit on me, and then I said, well, I'm just going to write novels now, like I'm doing now. So, but yeah, it was definitely. But yeah, that was definitely something that I recently came up with, the full name Hikoji Makuro, and they just call him Hiko for short. But Hiko has always been um, this has always been an established name from the very beginning of when I first thought of the character. As for when I first thought of him, the roots go back to Yu-Gi-Oh, of course. Yes, yes, which definitely is the one of the many inspirations for the Yumeko series. There are other shows that are referenced in here. Definitely, and when I say reference, I don't mean like all of a sudden my characters are gonna run into, hey, how's it going, Yugi? Or all of a sudden they're gonna walk into Digimon, or go catching Pokemon or something. Yeah, mean, like, I guess I should say more inspired there. Um, yeah, reference would probably be more like, yeah, like what you see with the 2017 DuckTales series, where they have pretty much the whole Disney afternoon wrapped up into that reboot there, with more in the DuckTales lore there. So, yeah, so but yeah, there definitely is an inspiration from that series since I mentioned it. Yeah, especially the adventure part of this series. Um, so yeah, so as for going back with Hiko, yeah, definitely has his roots planted in Yu-Gi-Oh role plays. Yes. Um, funny story, when I first came up with him. Okay, so first off, since I mentioned Yu-Gi-Oh, we got to go back all the way back to when I was in the eighth grade. Yes, eighth grade is when I first saw Yu-Gi-Oh for the first time, and I'm just being honest. Yes, I really love the show. Yeah, I like the show. Love the show is great. Really has a special place in my heart and everything. Um, I will admit there was one time I did kind of stray away from Yu-Gi-Oh. Just saying. Uh, just saying. And then plus, if you're listening, Casey, big sis, if you're listening, just hear me out. I did. Yeah, I did stray away from Yu-Gi-Oh at one point, which I think I did tell her about this once too. During when I kind of was in my college days, I want to say, college days. Yeah, I did kind of stray away, and because of that, so many to confirm for so many people that seem to have a problem with me, saying this and saying stuff about this. I had kind of got into the Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged series during that time of straying away from Yu-Gi-Oh! And not really, being into it at that short period of time. And yeah, I was looking at the Abridged series, like almost the first two seasons, and some of season three, some of it. And yeah, really, looking back on that, I really don't like the fact that I even got into, because yeah, it's a major insult to Yu-Gi-Oh. But like I say, my mindset was really different at that time. So, um, and yeah, I definitely regret doing that. Got they got back into Yu-Gi-Oh and broke away from Yu-Gi-Oh Abridged. That is why I really do not like Yu-Gi-Oh Abridged at all, because people going around saying that it got people back into the franchise and stuff like that, or brought people into the franchise. Only thing as from my experience with Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, it tore me away from the franchise, and not in a good way. And yeah, almost it's almost like wandering away, almost like somebody running away from their parents, and then realizing, yeah, I shouldn't have done that there. So yeah, that's so I definitely so yeah definitely hate Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged. Love the original series. Yes, the original, as Darkwing Duck say, the original. So like I say, yeah, if for some, um, if you want more before I go back to Hiko and Yu-Gi-Oh, um, if you want more detail why why I dislike Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged so much, that if you want to, I only do it upon a Patreon request. So yeah, again, definitely sign up as a Patreon and make your request as a Patreon. I will only do that type of video as a Patreon exclusive. Yes, of my hatred of Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged. So that's what I say. So become a Patreon and request something like that, and probably might be some other things that might be Patreon exclusive. But yeah, definitely. Definitely put the request if you really want to know that. There, show me some love, and I'll express my grievances of that. So anyway, going back. With so when I first got into Yu-Gi-Oh, like I say, it was eighth grade. Um, I I had no idea what I was looking at. When it first was advertised, like it was only a game, but then this boy and the monsters came to life. First thing came to my mind was, oh my god, this show was ripping off of card captors. That was what I, at that time when it was advertised. I hadn't got into it yet. I thought it was a ripoff of card captors. Um, and I made that mistake once before, when I got into Digimon, because I thought Digimon was a Pokemon reference, and yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that thought that. So yeah, I'm not alone on that one there. But then I did get into Digimon, and like, oh, so it's not a Pokemon copy. It's a pretty good show, and got into it. Um, so as with Yu-Gi-Oh, uh, thought it was a card captors ripoff, because for a brief moment I was into the card captors series, even imagining myself in that. Matter of fact, made up my own Cloud Beast called Star Rio for the show. Team up with Sakura and all that. And that was Star Rio became my first email address on AOL. So there was that. My first personal email address growing up, because when I first got the internet and stuff like that, I was using my mom's email address at first. Being kind of monitored, because I'm a kid. So eighth grade. So yeah, so like I say, got into Yu-Gi-Oh. It looked pretty cool. So I no longer thought it was a card captors ripoff, but I didn't understand what I was looking at. But it was really cool. Yeah, I asked, because I mean, why else would you? I mean, you obviously would have to think that, okay, this must be pretty cool to come back to watch this show. So yeah, like I say, didn't understand it, but I like what they were doing, like it's time to duel and stuff like that. And I just, every day I came home from school, Yu-Gi-Oh! Dun dun! Dark Magician attack and stuff like that. Okay. 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 I still don't. I really was trying to understand it there. Because like I say, it was cool. I really, and most of the time I usually can. I use like with Pokemon and Digimon. It took me a while to understand those shows just a little bit there, but it but Yu-Gi-Oh, I needed some help there. I needed help with this one there because this was because I think with Pokemon and Digimon, I at least had video games to sort of help me out with those. Pokemon, yeah, because Pokemon got like a lot of video games, Pokemon Yellow and all that. So I sort of, yeah, that sort of helped me to understand Pokemon. Um, and because of my exposure to Pokemon, I sort of was a eventually I understood Digimon, with the and got like merch from that and stuff like that. But Yu-Gi-Oh, yeah, that was a hard one at first. So I had watched from episode one all the way up to Yugi versus Kaiba to get into Pegasus's castle. So that I think that was as far as I went before I was out of eighth. Well, not exactly out of eighth grade. I had to go to summer school. And that was the first time I ever had went to summer school, and oh my goodness, I felt I literally. And some of you might think that this is being kind of dramatic, but I'm just being honest. I literally thought it was over for me. And I don't mean, and when I say over for me, I don't mean like I'm gonna end my life or something like that. I wasn't that down. But I meant like over for me. Like I didn't think I was gonna be able to get into the ninth grade. I thought I was gonna probably end up repeating eighth grade. And yeah, it was. I was just really depressed, and I remember the last week before I went, after I got out of regular, not like school, the school year had ended. I had like a couple of days and 1 week before summer school started, and I tried to have as much fun as I could. Went fishing with my grandpa and made home movies. Uh, really just tried to make the most out of those days because I was like, and it's gonna be over when I go to summer school. Summer school comes. Um, I kind of on the outside, I kind of tried to keep a little bit of a chipper attitude, but yeah, I was depressed on the inside, very down. Um, didn't really have many people to talk to at summer school, because like I say, so um, pretty much brooding over the fact I was even in summer school, instead of being on summer vacation like I had been previously before. And it's like, what am I gonna do? Like, no, it's not even a point of even. I'm just probably just gonna repeat the grade. And that's when I first met Casey at summer school on day two of summer school. She came up. She said, "Hey, anybody sitting here with you?" It was at lunch. She said, "Anybody sitting here with you?" And I said, "Oh no, no, oh no, you can sit there." And then when I got a good look at Casey, I was like, "You look a lot like the brown-haired girl from that show Yu-Gi-Oh," referring to Taya, of course. And yet she's like, "Oh, you mean Taya? I get that a lot." And that's where it began. Yeah, she actually, yes, she actually knew what the show was about, and the details about it, and what the premises of it, and that's how I learned about Yu-Gi-Oh. As what like I say, I was watching it, thought it was cool, but that's how I was able to understand it finally from her explaining it, and that at the same time gave me sort of some motivation to come to to really come to come to summer school with the attitude like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna go through this and try to get to the ninth grade. Yeah, I wasn't depressed anymore. um had someone to look forward to seeing up there, to talk to and stuff like that. It just it really perked me up, and that's why even to this day, Case and I are like a brother and sister to each other. That's how we've um how best friends like brother and sister, or like they say about Yugi and Joey, we're closer than brothers. And in me and Case's case, we're like brother and sister, but now we have to fight each other. Can we trust our faith through the heart of the cards, no matter what? Okay, so yeah, pretty much like that. Yeah, we became really tight there. I gotta share one thing. I definitely gotta share since bringing up about me and Casey. Um, yeah, not there was one. I mean, there was some other time too, but the one of the best memories of one of the best memories that really emphasizes that brother sister relation. Uh, of how how we look at each other there um, is because she's like a year older than I am, so yeah, like a big sister. Um, so um, we there was one time we gonna turn this there. I was like won't be getting copyrighted for my ringtone just in case. I'll still be able to see the vibration now. Yeah, somebody if it's important now, yeah, might have to stop the video or something like that. I highly doubt I will, but it's over here. So one of the biggest brother sister memories is I come into school one day and I'm told like we all had to sit on the bleachers in gym class before going to class because we were waiting for the bell to ring to go to class at summer school. And the principal told me to go all the way up to the top for some reason. And there's plenty of room right there on the bottom row. Are you kidding me? Why are you making me go all the way up to the top? And not really because especially you don't really want to argue with a lot of especially argue a lot there because then you don't want to get in trouble and stuff. But I really, especially bleachers, I hate having to go up to the top of stuff like them bleachers there. I'm sorry, I don't do well with the top of bleachers, and it showed that day because I'm all the way up at the top. Bell ring, everybody went to class. I was stuck. I was like a cat in a tree. I was like especially the way the bleachers were designed. Now of course, I've been on some bleachers like at middle school and also even high school that are a little bit better designed. Yeah, a little bit better designed. They're not quite you can't it's a little easier for me to get up and down them without it being so terrifying there. It is a bit risky because because it's not really much in the way of rails and stuff except on the sides of the bleachers. But yeah, this one was like this one was most terrifying at summer school. So I'm stuck up there. I could describe the way it was designed, but you'd have to see it to know what I'm talking about. Uh, Casey comes back in there because she realized that I hadn't because we usually meet up with each other. I think that was another reason I was mad too because Casey was right there sitting on the bottom of the bleachers. I was gonna go over and sit next to her. I think that was kind of another reason I was pretty ticked off there. So she noticed that I hadn't, because like we usually, we have the first class that we had in summer school. We had like two classes that everybody took at summer school. Well, most everybody. Well, I know me and Casey, we took two classes there. So we went to, so we was in the first class together. Uh, I think yeah, first class, yeah, and she comes back. She's like, and she saw I was scared, and said, and she said, "Look, Gabriel, just try to come down. I'm gonna be right here." And so I slowly made my way. She risked being late for class to help to like how they say keep your eyes on me, keep your eyes on me. It's like which and that's why I say this was really the most sibling moment that really emphasized, the whole thing of us like being a brother and sister. Yeah, it's just like older sibling coming to help their younger sibling get down. So yeah, then finally got down. We was late for class. I think we got in trouble a little bit, but like I say, she took that major risk to make us. Everybody had left. It was like yeah, see ya. Yeah, so yep. So there was that. So as for with now Hiko, as Case and I role play Yu-Gi-Oh, we the characters we came up with in role playing Yu-Gi-Oh for ourselves. She role played. Her character was Julie Kaiba, and later sometimes she would sometime her character would be Julie Yukashi, which is in the Yumeko series. There'll be more about that in another video. Um, so as for my character, Hiko Makuro, of course, but at first he did not have that name. At first, Hiko Makuro was actually the Japanese name of my character, because then I started learning about how these animes have Japanese versions of them, which I sort of knew. I sort of kind of knew somewhat about that from watching Digimon. Like some of the names of the different Digimon were different in Japanese, stuff like that. Um, but I started to know more about it, when I role played with Casey, getting into Yu-Gi-Oh, and also other animes that she introduced me to, um, and stuff like that. Really, I think that really, like I say, even though like I say I was into Pokemon and Digimon before I met her, but I really uh, experienced and understood. Oh, this is an anime genre. Okay, yeah. So okay. So all this was part of this genre. Cool, you know. So, and that's another reason I can't get. That's another reason, like I ain't gonna say who, but like I've heard a certain someone talk about. Well, I just don't get anime. I don't like it at all. Like, okay, I can understand maybe because most everybody of like I said, not most everybody coming up in my generation, like with me and Casey and Christina and all that, most every one of us has at least one anime, if not more, has at least one anime type show that we're into. Even Christina, Sailor Moon. Okay? Sailor Moon is her, and also there is a few others that she's gotten into, like mute, like when I say got, I'm not like of course we've watched Yu-Gi-Oh together because she saw me watch it, and okay, I'm kind of curious about it, but I mean as far as like into it on her own, Sailor Moon, Mew Mew Power, a mermaid anime called Mermaid Melody because mermaids obviously, and card captors a little bit. Um, so yeah, so most everybody in our generation, now I can understand like our parents and stuff, that okay, I can see that, but most everybody of our generation has at least one anime that they've gotten into, even if they didn't understand the term anime genre. Yeah, even if they didn't know about that's what it was, they were at least into it. Most every guy, and there's some girls into it, but most every guy that I've seen in elementary growing up knew about Dragon Ball Z. Because that was even how I found out about it way back in elementary. So yeah, I did not get that at all. How you could just not get any anime or hate or even okay, because I didn't understand Yu-Gi-Oh when I got into it, but I still liked it. It still looked cool, and I liked it, just like Digimon and Pokemon. How you? How in the world you not at least even get into something as simple as Pokemon at least? Yeah, that yeah. So yeah, that's a that. I don't see how that's even possible there. That's yeah. So anyway, um, so yeah, my character in the role plays of Yu-Gi-Oh was Rudy Rutabaker. That was the English name, and the Japanese name, like I mentioned before, was Hiko Makuro. Rudy. So yeah, we would imagine ourselves, different episodes and stuff like that in season one, and as it continued and stuff. Um, and Rudy, aka Hiko, in the role plays that version of Hiko. We're just gonna go by Hiko because it's the history of Hiko. Um, he had his he liked Taya, aka Anzu Mazaki, of course. So yeah, it was Hiko X Anzu, and that was pretty much my anime high school sweetheart back then. And that's which is why Casey even made the fan art of Hiko and Anzu at prom night there. So that's how that picture came about there. Um, and I remember a lot of time when we talk online and stuff, we would even talk sometimes as you know our characters and even different characters in the show with each other. Like um, this was kind of how this kind of explains how years later how my conversations with Christina would go in the future from from the imaginary role play chats with Taya, which of course was Casey pretending to be Taya, but yeah, uh, yeah. So it was. I remember there was a lot of times, especially around Christmas time. The song "Silent Night." There was a version of that song. I wish I could find this particular version. It's a lady that sings this version, but the way it sounds like a slow dance tone, and I know that's not what the song originally is. It's supposed to be about baby Jesus. I get this. Yeah, I'm just like don't go fussing at me about that, but it sounded really sweet and which it is. That I would imagine as my character he'd go in the roleplay dancing with Anzu to that there. Um, and also I'm aware that originally in the show, Anzu, and Yugi are a thing, and I do, and yeah, I mean, I'm for that, Yugi X Anzu, for the original. But in our role plays, yeah, Hiko X Anzu. So obviously that meant Casey's character, Julie Kaiba, had a thing for Yugi when we first started. Then there were other role plays where, it was Julie X Bakura, there was Julie X Merrick sometimes in season two. Uh, and I think there might have possibly, I'm not sure, there may have been possibly a Julie X Duke, I'm not sure completely. But I do know at one point there was a Julie X Joey. It happens. and, and so, yeah, but going back over with Hika, yeah, I'm trying to save Julie for another video, yeah. Well, yeah, another video. I know, and plus I know I've talked about some other things too, but yeah. So, with Hiko, yeah, there was Hiko X Anzu most of the time. I would even as during that time, like when I was actually in high school, when I was going through high school, I especially the ninth grade, um, and some of the 10th grade, I want to say, I kind of would imagine, you know, uh, myself as my character, along with Taya actually being at school together and stuff like that, having lunch and stuff together. It's like I have a very strong imagination. Okay, so yeah, so there was that, and there was some other thing. Definitely want to mention. I think that's Hiko related. Oh yes, okay. So how Hiko played out in the Yu-Gi-Oh series in our role plays. Okay, so in the Yu-Gi-Oh series, my character Hiko, um, there, like starting with season one, there was he was a photographer, or I think a video. I think he was both a photographer and a camera guy in the journalism class at Domino High, which in real life I was in journalism class at my high school in real life. So yeah, he was in journalism and also a bit of a duelist. And yeah, like I say, he had a crush on Taya, aka Anzu, and he ended up going. He got an invite to Duelist Kingdom to go with Yugi and his friends to film. to get pictures and film the tournament, for both Pegasus, and also was allowed to, share with the school as well, when they got back and stuff. So yeah, so that's how he got on board with Yugi and his friends there. Uh, and I think I want to say maybe in that version of our role play, maybe that's how Tristan and Taya got on. That maybe they snuck on with Hiko. um, Thinking, I'm not completely sure, but I'm just assuming that that's what we did there. Then of course, we go through the Duelist Kingdom arc. And go through all the they have all the duels and stuff like that, battle their way so Yugi can get the Pegasus, and Joey, both of them get their goals and stuff. They battle Kaiba, and then of course there I want to say I think that it pretty much just played out like how the original show did there, but just with the addition of Hiko and also Casey's character Julie. Maybe a few details I'm not that. Yeah, I may have forgotten a little bit there because ooh, boy, it's been oh boy, 21 years ago from now because it's 2023. That was back in 2002. So yeah, last year was the 20th anniversary of those, not only those role plays, but the anniversary of Case and I first meeting each other and everything. Yeah, so and it's a of our brother sister meet up now. So oh, also in and this is going to be also part of Yumeko as well. In the role plays, Hiko had a sister named Taikari. In the English version, her name was Tiana, but like I said, we're gonna go by the Japanese name because that's gonna be used in Yumeko series as well. When I adapt her to that. And just a little heads up, Taikari. Now, much like how Hiko had a different name when I first came up with him, Taikari not only had the English name Tiana, but when I first came up with the idea of an imaginary little sister in the first place, it was way back in Digimon, with a digital clone of DW. Don't ask. Don't ask. It just roll with it like SpongeBob. All the fire. Hey, if we're underwater, how could there be? Stop questioning your logic. So we not question the logics of the role play. We just roll with them. things get more better and more continuity based as we get older. But yeah, back then we just did things. Okay, so we just did things. So yeah. At first her name was it was a digital clone of DW. Then in 8th grade, I imagined myself having an imaginary little sister. The name back then I came up with her was Ashley. Uh, yep, and wish I don't have a picture of her right around me, but the picture I would imagine in my mind of how she looked was a little girl I saw in one of my mom's magazine for a biscuit commercial. The little girl had like one of them little biscuits and stuff like that in her mouth. Like, sort of look like little Nisha from that we used to be in our nursery years ago. When the first time she ate a Hostess cupcake, and she tasted the cream in the cupcake. Mmm. So that's the way the little girl in the magazine looked with the biscuit. that's some good biscuit there. Good and sweet, lots of syrup. Mm. Oh boy, now it's starting to make me think of SpongeBob with that chocolate bar. when he was messing with, as they say, trolling Patrick. that was that scene cracked. That was a weird scene, but it cracked me up. I was like, why? Why? It's funny, but why? Why are you doing this? Well, I guess somebody would probably say, well, you say it's funny, so I guess to make you laugh. Fair enough. I'll go with that. Mm. Pretty much like a lot of other things in that show. It just did. It's funny. Now, at least it makes sense there. But there are some things in life that aren't just funny. Some people don't realize that there, but yeah. So, anywho, so back with Hiko, we now return to the history of Hiko Makuro. uh, sorry about that, Casey. If you're watching, I'm sorry to bring SpongeBob into this. Role play. Yeah, I actually did try to get her to role play SpongeBob. That did not end so well. Yeah, not yeah. And like I said, nothing against her, nothing against her or anything. Everybody likes what they like. That's cool. But yeah, what? But of course, different mindset in high school, and yeah, I'm just gonna say any role play with SpongeBob that we had, uh, first time ended with her going after SpongeBob with a shotgun. um, yeah, not for real, but in the rope. Yeah, Elmer Fudd Bugs Bunny style. So anyway, enough of that. Um, so yeah, then of course when we got into the Yu-Gi-Oh role plays, yeah, that's where she became Tiana, and Japanese name slash official name Taikari. Um, so yeah, Taikari of course was Hiko's little sister. Um, she was more when season two of Yu-Gi-Oh came out. She was a lot more um, known because then when they entered the Battle City tournament, not only did Hiko enter the tournament, but also Taikari did, despite how young she was. Okay, now obviously Hiko was in high school like Yugi and his friends, but Taikari was still in elementary, and I think even younger than Rebecca. She was like, because I know Rebecca said she was 8 in the English dub, but in the Japanese, Rebecca was like 13. Okay. Um, I guess I could buy that for the Japanese. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I guess I can go with that. It seems kind of logical. Okay. I as that guy said, I will allow it. So, I know for she was younger than both versions of Rebecca. She was like 7 or 6 or 7. Yeah. So you imagine a 6 or 7 year old in the Battle City tournament able to outduel some people there. Of course, if you had an 8-year-old in the English dub, maybe I guess that's not so unbelievable. And not to mention in the Pokemon games, you have nursery students that are Pokemon trainers before they even turn 10. So there's that. So in so yeah, they were in the tournament. There was some opponents I made up for both Hiko and Taikari to face personally to get their locator cards. And Hiko even got his own Egyptian god card, and quite obviously Casey did for Julie, but that will be mentioned in Julie's video. Hiko's I guess because you have like Slifer, Obelisk, and Raw. Hiko's Egyptian god card was Valsuki the Rainbow Dragon. Yep, Valsuki. Um, and I actually which yeah, it's in another room there, pinned to the walls. Yeah, so Matter of fact, yeah. Let me tell you what. Let me run show you. I can at least show you that. Just a second. Okay, here I go. Go off camera for a second. Yeah. But yeah, that this is the most recent that I've done of Valsuki. This was actually done, let's see, according to the information on the back. When I was in a I was actually in a art I was actually taking an art classes there. Well, it's an art instruction school, and this was one of the works I submitted for for a art competition. Um, yeah, not I don't really think I'm not sure if I won the contest or not like that, but yeah, but I know I did graduate from the school there. Uh, but yeah, this was one of the works I did for a couple. You know, so you got your little yin and yang symbols on there. Yeah, Valsuki the Rainbow Dragon. Yeah, and as you can see, this was done, and it's laminated and everything. So that's yeah, it's good that it's laminated too, because at least that helps to preserve it. Got a little dust on it there, but this was done completely with pencil, pen, and colored pencils. Yes, very well done though for all that. Yeah, even the background is a rainbow. Yep. So I'll put it back after the video. So yeah, that was Hiko's Egyptian god card, and also I think some kind of way he was able to use it in Waking the Dragons. There, I want to, or I actually, yeah, it could have. I think, yeah, like I say, it was. It possibly was a Egyptian god card, or like I said, it's been a while since we've done these role plays, so he may have used it both as that and also as one of the legendary dragons for the Doma arc. But if it wasn't an Egyptian god card monster, it was definitely used as one of the legendary dragons. I know that for sure. Uh, so we'll get to that in a second. So yeah, they faced opponents in Battle City. And of course, you know, you had the finals and stuff like that, the semifinals and the finals, and there was also the virtual world arc and stuff like that. And then, excuse me. So then with, of course, like I mentioned before, the Doma arc, we were sort of on and off with role playing that one, because I think what happened at the time when we first watched that season, like we got into it, you know, dragons, new villains and stuff like that. But then there was that whole thing of, oh my god, my Valentine is suddenly, you know, evil, or I guess they don't the villain or the character like the Doma, the Orichalcos group, they don't consider themselves evil. They say they're purifying the world of all its evil and stuff like that. Sort of. First thing came to my mind with the Waking the Dragon season / Doma arc was Yu-Gi-Oh! Revelation or something like that. And I sort of thought of, and first thing Darts kind of made me think of was the Antichrist there. Yeah. So with that, but when Mai was a part of the group there, and talking about, you know, I'm no longer part of your little group, Joey, and all that. Yeah, it sort of, we were sort of on and off with watching the series, because it kind of, yeah, especially Casey there, because like I say, yeah, like I say, not saying I wasn't there, but yeah, you know, yeah, it was, it kind of affected her a little bit differently from what I remember there. But then, like I say, we were on and off with watching it, and because of that, there were some role plays from that season. One of which were because of the the stuff with I imagine my character somehow having like there was another Orichalco's member I made up called Antonio, which was based off of a bully that I actually one of the bullies that I encountered at my high school there, um, and how he somehow defeated Hiko in a duel and got him to join the Orichalcos group. And Hiko ended up getting this special toy deck, uh, which was special. You know how Jaden in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX made those Neospatian cards out of his imagination? Well, Hiko's imagination created this toy deck, and I don't mean the one that Bonaparte uses in GX there with the toy soldiers. No, not that toy deck. I didn't even know that was his deck until I actually saw him in action. Um, when he first faced Crowler, and then they battled Pegasus for that job. I'm late for my meeting. so when so Hiko's deck yeah was based off of the different plush toys and stuff that I've had growing up, like Brownie and all them, and also other toys that I've had. Um, like for instance, you had Redhead Bear and Bigfoot Rabbit. That was a couple of plush toys. Bear and Sally. You had Jackstone Puck. The Brown Sword Doll, which of course was one of the strongest cards in the deck, which of course was Brownie as a samurai. Um, or you had stuff like I want to say like Cloud Puppet, or you had Basic Armor Bot, which was based off of an Astro Megazord toothbrush holder I once had that I played with. Yeah, don't ask. And Satellite Monster, which was pretty much a Space Bite that I've showed you in a previous video, and they merged together to form the the plane shark, which was Paper Eater, of course. So yeah, though, imagine those with the Orichalcos infused, and yeah, in one of the role plays, my Hiko had faced Julie and actually defeated her, sealing her soul away. And of course, being that she's Kaiba's little sister, yeah, Kaiba was not so happy about that. Yeah, he was pretty angry with Hiko, and he wasn't the only one. Well, Hiko started to realize what he had done, and yeah, Taya, be it like I say, him and Taya are a thing in our role plays. Taya was not too happy with him, and it was quite a while before they patched things up with their relation, and also, of course, got Julie's soul back. Probably patched their relationship up after Julie returned there, as well as also amends with Seto Kaiba, of course. Also, one thing I forgot to mention, a couple of things that are kind of humorous to sort of lighten this up a little bit. One, I posted this on Facebook about Yugi asking Julie out on a date once, and Kaiba's reaction, "What?" Yeah, imagine Kaiba having a little sister and she's dating Yugi. Kaiba has a little sister and she's dating Yugi. I will. I'll let you fill in the blanks there. Right. But keep it keep it family friendly. Family approved. Yeah. Yeah. So, as Daffy say, keep it clean. So, um, then of course there was one other thing. We imagined. There was something else. That I think had to do with Hiko. Can't think of what it was. It was on my mind just a minute ago, and now it just went away. Okay, there was Okay, I know I mentioned about the Yugi X Julie thing. Oh boy, I hate when that happens there. I'm trying to think where it was. I think it may have been someplace like in Battle City or something like that. Um, well, it'll probably come to might possibly not come to me until after I finish making this video. Let's see. Huh? It's one of my old phone cases here. Huh, interesting. Anywho, I wonder if it's the yeah. It's almost like a I guess like a spare. I think this was a different phone I had in here though. Yeah, possibly. So anyway, uh, distraction. So anyway, so basically, I think that was pretty much all we had in the role plays of Yu-Gi-Oh. There was some other stuff we did outside of the anime series. We actually, there was one point we imagined ourselves in the manga. In that version, Hiko. Oh yes, I forgot to mention. Oh yeah, that's right. Also, yeah, the Valsuki dragon that I showed you guys. Yeah, that's right here. Of course, like I say, he was one of the legendary dragons. Uh, and he could, and just like how Yugi, Joey, and Kaiba merged their dragons with different cards. Like, I think like Kaiba, he could merge his with trap cards. Joey could merge his dragon with different magic cards and equip them, and then Yugi with different monsters like Dark Magician Girl and stuff like that. And so mine, I really didn't stop to think about how the merging thing went. I just okay now Valsuki merge with Brown Sword Dog, stuff like that there. So excuse me. So then of course, like I say, we imagine our characters in the manga. Um, and like and one thing another thing, Hiko did have a Millennium item called the Millennium Watch, which I know that's gonna sound strange because you're like, wait, watches aren't back in Egypt, but you think about when you think about like ancient magical artifacts like the Millennium Puzzle and stuff, stuff that's not technological. Yeah, that was just I just made that up. I was it was my regular wristwatch, but then later, the this pocket watch that I wear around my neck a lot when I go out, that that was what I imagined later as the Millennium Watch, and in Yumeko, it will later be known as the Destiny Watch that Hiko wears. He got it from his Big Papa in that series. So the Millennium Watch, of course, had another spirit inside it, just like how Yugi, with Yami, aka Pharaoh Atem, spirit in Hiko's Millennium Watch was Yiro. Yiro will probably now there is a plan I do have of how to have Yiro in the Yumeko series. I hadn't got to it yet, but I will mention it in a later video of how that's going to work out. So with this, yeah, Yiro had, he would, just like how Yami would take over Yugi during duels, Yiro would come out during duels for Hiko. Uh, and that was a funny, and you know how Yugi had, like when Shadi went inside the Millennium Puzzle in Yugi's mind, there was, like Yugi's room and Yami's room, had that going with Hiko and Yiro. Funny, used to would imagine Hiko going over to Yiro's room to heat up lean pockets in the soul room. I got some lean pockets over here. Yeah, let me. I better not stay on that there, cause yeah, who Mister Abridged series will probably try to make that into something there, unappropriate probably. So with that, yeah, there was a now just like how Hiko how there was Hiko X Taya in the role plays, Yiro had a crush on a different girl that from Daya, which actually was someone from my journalism class there. Yeah, so there was that. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much as far as I'll go on that because I don't want to, mention any names without consent there. Uh, so, oops, drop something here. So anyway, with the William Watch here in the excuse me. In the we also imagine other Millennium items like, of course, Taikari had one. It was because Casey had made up other Millennium items like she had the Millennium Cross and with a spirit in there. More about that in her video, but there was also another Millennium item she made that she I think gave to Taikari a spare Millennium ring, not the same one Bakura has there, but another ring. And that was so Takari had another spirit there. We had a thing with these, spirit items, stuff like that. So yeah, there was that. With the manga role plays, yeah, Hiko had used this sort of like how Yugi would challenge different people to different games and penalty games and all that in the manga. Yiro did that once with a guy at a watch store that was trying to steal some watches there, with the whole time and stuff like that. And then we had, like imagine the manga. Then there was a series we call ourselves tried to make like, well, what was Hiko and Julie like before they met Yugi and the others? And that's where we made up a series called Change of the Seasons, which was supposed to be like our Yu-Gi-Oh! 1.5 kind of thing. In that, it started off where Hiko was on his way home with Hiko's 9 years old. He's on his way home with a pizza from Domino's, and it's raining. Then, as he's waiting to cross the street to get home, all of a sudden you hear some crying, and he looks up on a telegraph pole. And I've mentioned this in a previous video on my old channel, but a lot of y'all probably haven't seen it. Some of y'all may have. So he looks up the telegram pole where the crying is coming from, and it's a baby tied to the at the top of the pole there on like the light part of it, the street light there. Yeah. There is no way that something like that would have if something like that made it to the mainstream media, critics would be criticizing the heck out of this. Like, first, just imagine Linkara, for example. There's a baby crying on the streetlight pole. How is it that Hiko is the only person that notices this? No one else notices this, even for a rainy day. You think somebody would be out there and take a look? And matter of fact, how did she even who even got her up there without anybody knowing this? Well, it could have been done in the middle of the night or something when no one was out. But why wouldn't somebody notice this in the daytime at least? You think somebody would take a look and she's crying too? And okay, so Hiko goes up to save her and stuff, and but nobody else noticed this. so then, of course, after that very critical scene, Hiko, of course, brought so the little baby. He ends up naming her Taikari, and even shares some of his pizza with her because she's like 2 at this point. I want to say either 1 or 2. Yeah, probably would not be a good I don't think that'd be such a good idea of someone a little baby having straight up pizza like that. Yeah, so it happened, and then This is probably going to be the most questionable thing in most of my writings that I've done in the early years. So Hiko goes to school the next day. Taikari wants to come, but he's like, no, but we'll play when I come back. And some kind of way, without Hiko knowing it, some kind of way he managed to. I mean, some kind of way Taikari managed to get in his backpack that has other school books in it, and and completely unnoticed. Goes to school and everything, and Taikari is in the backpack unnoticed. Then, after they get to the school, Hiko meets up with Julie, of course. They talk a little bit. Time for class. For some weird reason, he accidentally forgot his backpack. Cause there's a place where they all left their backpack. Cause I was thinking in terms of my old elementary school. Sometimes we would get there before class started. Like school elementary. School starts at 8. You go to class, but some of us would get there a little early. Anywhere between 7 to 8. And and while we were waiting for class to start, they would allow us to go, like especially if it wasn't raining or anything, they would allow us to go to the basketball court to play a little bit before class started. So we would so there was a place, like a bench or something we put our backpacks at. And so you're telling me that Taikari is still in this backpack, and after everybody left, now I could understand if he forgot his lunch bag or something like that, because I actually have forgotten my lunch bag when we came from lunch straight to recess. We went to lunch first, then went to recess. There were a few times I forgot my lunch bag. I can understand that there, and then came back, because I remember one time I came back, got my lunch bag, and went to, mom was picking me up, or either granny, but I think some of the times I forgot my lunch bag, it was my mom picking me up. One time, it was out there because I didn't eat everything in my lunch bag, and when I picked it up, there were ants in it. Ugh. That did not go over so well. So, yeah, I can understand that. But you are not. And I wrote this, or I imagined this. Seriously gonna tell me I actually am at. This is about as unbelievable as Linkhart and Nash trying to process the atom limbo. Again, the atom shrinks to small size and limbo. Again, limboing atom. So yeah, so let's get this. Try to process this the best you can, people. So remember, Taikari is still in this book bag, the backpack. Hiko and all the kids leave. They get their stuff, but somehow Hiko forgets his backpack. Not his lunch bag, but his backpack. At the first of the morning, going to class. And on top of that, okay, so even with forgetting his bag, you think at some point between there and on the way to class, it would click, wait a minute, I don't have my backpack on my back. Or you get to class, wait, my books. Oh no, I forgot my backpack. I gotta run back and get it. Nope, we never hear about that. The backpack is out there. And not only that, remember, elementary school, there are other teachers and adults in general, other teachers that monitor the students. I know this to be a fact from being in school myself. Other adults to monitor these students. So how is it if his backpack is the only backpack left out there, and all he like, okay, kid, let's get to class, that nobody student or teacher would notice that one backpack still out there. Anyway, everybody's gone, so Taikari somehow makes her way out of the backpack. I don't know how she's unzipping it and zipping it from the inside. I have no idea, but it happened. And she crawls into a random cardboard box that just so happened to be left out there for some reason that nobody noticed. I referenced the Gilmon scene from Digimon Tamers. But that scene worked better with Gilmon because it was a digital dinosaur that was in a box before he got to the schoolyard. This is just really weird. So Taikari's wandering around this box, crawling in the box, I might add, all the way up to obviously the classes and stuff. Passes by the principal. Good morning, cardboard box. Oh, student, shouldn't you be in class? Any of you seen Digimon Tamers, you know how this is gonna go. Except the fact when they pull the box off, it's not a digital dinosaur. It's a little baby. It's a little 1 or 2 year old baby girl. Now, this another very unbelievable thing is somehow Taikari escapes before the principal can call, like on the PTA that there's a baby in the school or something like that. She somehow escapes. Hiko after school finds her, and they go to play in the park. And the only thing I imagine after that was some weird the scientist that was responsible for putting Taikari on the street post in the first place, on the street light, coming out of nowhere in the park, kicking Hiko to get Taikari, and Hiko gets his Millennium Watch for the first time, transforms to Yiro, and defeats this guy to rescue Taikari. And that was pretty much all I imagined. That was pretty much all the role play we imagined over in that little thing of ours there. Yeah, that happened. So, pretty much covers all the stuff I did with Pico in Yu-Gi-Oh! And that is quite a bit just from that. So, we now move. So you say, I guess I should have said at the beginning of the video to grab your popcorn and stuff there, because this is pretty much a movie that you're watching of me explaining all this. So, with that said, after all the Yu-Gi-Oh! Role plays and stuff like that and everything, then there was, I think of course, I got into writing, my different books and stuff. You had, I want to say, there was, the Star Striker. Actually, Heroes of Dreams, of course. There was going to be, at some point, a way that I was going to work Hiko into the Heroes of Dreams series, like after Book 12 and stuff like that, but I never did get to that. Book 12 is as far as I got in Heroes of Dreams. Probably talk about that in the future. But I did manage to have a character in another book series that was in the same universe as Heroes of Dreams. The Reality Imagination series. But his name was not Hiko in that series. His name was Johnson Douglas. And there were other characters that he hung out with, Zayden and Sakura. Julie was not in this. Casey's character Julie did not have an adaptation in this series because her character Julie was in Heroes of Dreams. So that kind of messed some things up a little bit in the long run. So you couldn't, and reason why, because Heroes of Dreams took place in 2011, started in 2011. Reality Imagination series took place 10 years before that in 2001. Yeah, so there was that there. In that series, Hiko's name was Johnson Douglas. And then there was, of course, the introduction of the comics. You had Star Striker series. Hiko was going to be introduced in that at one point, but we never got to it. Um, then the Brown Chronicles, where Hiko was finally introduced into the comic books with Brownie, of course. Uh, but they only got like 2 issues there before I decided to do something else, which of course was Yumeko. And of course, yes, they are in the first 2 issues of that comic, Hiko. And of course, now he's gonna be with the Yumeko novel series. So yeah, that brings us full circle all the way to that there, and whew, it's quite a bit to unpack on the guy. So yeah, so yeah, and there's definitely gonna be more explained about Hiko with the Yumeko series as I'm writing it and give you story updates and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it there. So if you like what you heard here and everything, definitely be sure to subscribe to the channel, then subscribe to the channel, of course. Then of course, share with your friends and all that. Support us on Patreon as well as buying some books. That way you can get early access to these videos before they hit YouTube and everything, as well as supporting us at the same time. And until the next time, we will see you in the next video. Take care, everybody.